Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the best of the rest. We record this every week, and this show really highlights sports that doesn't get enough press here in the U.S., especially in the American sports media, from football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. Well, we're gonna focus on the other stuff. We just had the fourth major in golf, so major championship golf is a really big deal. I'm gonna get into some of the soccer transfer news as well as the French Grand Prix, which is this week. But I am honored and super, super happy and lucky to have the one and only Justin as a guest today. He's going to talk about the British Open, recap some of the notable highlights there, and then also get into some of his sweats that he had to endure over the weekend. How are you, Justin?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Happy to be on with you, and look forward to recapping last week a little bit. It certainly was a fun week of golf, and unfortunately, we don't get to do it for another year. So it was definitely an entertaining British Open for sure.
Yeah, we have 9 more months until the next major. I wish these were more spread out, but it is what it is, right? They moved at the PGA. But with that being said, man, congratulations to Cameron Smith, another Australian major championship winner. The winner of the Open scored -20, which is insane to think about for the Open, but no wind, no rain. That's what happens with these guys. They can just tear up the course, even if it is St. Andrews. But congrats to Cam Smith. I do want to give a quick shout out to Cameron Young, man. He finished number 2 overall with the amazing eagle putt on 18. That's big news for him because that means he's going to get an automatic bid into next year's Masters. So props to him. Little disappointing news here if you're a Rory McIlroy fan, and I am. But Rory I believe had a 4-stroke lead when he took the turn at 10, and he ended up losing. And it wasn't his fault. I know there's the narrative right now today, Justin, is Rory didn't really lose it. He didn't have any bogeys. He hit one bunker the entire 4 rounds, and he shot 18 under. That usually is enough to get you a major championship winner or title. But what are your thoughts on Rory? And do you think he's going to have more chances? Because we all expected him to win on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, he became the first guy ever to take a major championship lead into Sunday and hit every single green in regulation and not win. And he made no bogeys. He just didn't make any putts, and sometimes that happens. And he was still right there if not for Cam Young's run with the eagle on 18 and Cam Smith birdieing 5 holes in a row on the back 9. Rory's taking home the trophy. I mean, he still beat everybody else by 4. So sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky, and he didn't. He missed a few putts, and I mean, but he's still, he's still one of the longest players that you'll see off the tee. Still has plenty of confidence all around in his game, and it was just the flat stick that let him down a little bit over the weekend. But he's going to have more chances. A little bit disappointing. I had an outright. He was my favorite outright pick last week. Put him in my article over there on Scores and Odds to win. So I was hoping Rory would pull it off. But Cam Smith certainly deserves all the credit for that incredible run there on the back 9, and kudos to him for winning.
Yeah, kudos to him. Shot 6 under on the back 9, a 30. Rory again didn't play poor at all, but he had. This is a crazy stat. 18 holes, 18 2-putts for a total of 36 putts in the final round. I don't know how much you golf, Justin, but anytime I'm in the mid-30s, I'm actually pretty disappointed. So seeing a world-class player like Rory with 36 putts is kind of crazy. But those numbers are a little inflated just because of how big these greens are at Augusta. But Rory's been disappointing in terms of short putting for a while now. Hopefully he can get over those demons, but I wanted to get into some other notables, right? One thing was Tiger. I think he was probably the most favorite bet in terms of making the cut as we headed into the first round on Thursday, but he obviously didn't make it. Miscut. Had a really cool walk on 18 there on Friday afternoon. He got very emotional, cried a little bit. What are your thoughts on Tiger? This most likely is going to be his final major championship round at St. Andrews.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's St. Andrews isn't scheduled to host again for several years, so I'm sure it definitely got to him, and he just, he didn't play very good golf there for a couple of days, and so it was a short week, but still nice to see all, the crowd applauding and giving him that recognition, and both Max Homa and Matt Fitzpatrick, who were golfing with them, recognized that as well. And thought it was a really cool moment, even for a guy like Homa who missed the cut. Also, seemed to cherish that experience. So really cool to see. Obviously, everybody who bet him to make the cut was probably hoping for a better performance, but it's also a nice reminder. Particularly, I think the biggest liability on tournament bets for the sports books was Tiger to win also, which at this stage is just kind of silly. I mean, yeah, he was great in his prime, and we're all rooting for him again, but with the talent of today's younger players, it's just going to be an uphill climb for him when you're talking about winning majors on the PGA Tour at this stage. So another reminder of generally why the sports books aren't going to go broke, when Tiger is your biggest liability ticket. So wish he would have played better, but not terribly surprising.
Yeah, I have a couple other questions for Justin there before he heads out. But yeah, one thing about Tiger, half the field here in their 20s and 30s wouldn't be playing golf without Tiger Woods, right? So he's more than, major championships and titles and like that. He has a huge influence, not only on the sport, the players, but, everything that he touches. So I agree. Betting Tiger is almost like very degenerative. It's almost like you just want action at that point. But one thing I wanted to talk about, Justin, is the live golfers. So for me, obviously, I'm pro PGA. I love how defensive Rory gets, JT gets, even John Rahm gets about it. I feel like everyone is their own man. They can make their own decisions. Nothing against the Live Tour, but I actually just want to see, just for the fun of it, right? I want to see a live golfer win a major championship title. DJ was the closest, but did you feel that any other players heading into the tournament had a legitimate shot?
Yeah, and Cam Smith could be a live golfer. Those rumors have been circulating today.
Yeah.
Don't know if they're true or not, but nothing official yet. So it could just be a rumor. But yeah, DJ was tied 6th, and Bryson was tied 8th. And I actually made a case on our RotoGrinders shows last week that Bryson DeChambeau could have a chance with, not a lot of wind, not a lot of rain, and basically the course playing so firm that, his distance off the tee would have been a pretty big advantage. So, he ended up finishing in a tie for 8th, birdied 5 holes on the back 9 on Sunday. Obviously wasn't really in the mix at that stage, but if you're a Bryson fan, that was certainly an encouraging performance on a links course to finish 8th. So no surprise that DJ ends up being the top finisher of the group. But DeChambeau, I think, is the guy that, he wouldn't have been surprising if he made a run and he got up there inside the top 10.
That's a really sharp call, Justin. I mean, he wasn't playing that well heading into this tournament.
I didn't feel great about it. I thought I was just spewing, nonsense there for a while, but I talked myself into it.
All right, let's talk about what you were sweating over the weekend. I don't do the DFS, and I know there was a huge contest over the weekend, but Justin, what happened?
Yeah, so I was at one point, kind of halfway through the final round, I had a lineup in 5th and a lineup in 8th in the Millionaire Maker, which is definitely as deep of a sweat as I've had in quite a while. But both of those lineups that were at the top had Rory and Hovland and not Cam Smith. I did have Cam Smith on some lineups, but just not the ones that were at the top. So that back 9 did not break well for me. We did not win $1 million. But it's really hard to win those. As far as the picks that I provided on Scores and Odds last week, of course, I had Rory to win, which pretty well should have hit, but didn't. But I also had Tommy Fleetwood at plus 300 for a top 10. So that one did hit. And that was and he was another guy that had a really solid week. No bogeys on Sunday and finished at 14 under in a tie for 4th. So DFS sweat was nice. Ended up profiting a little bit, but no $1 million, and did hit on that Fleetwood top 10. So would have been nice to see Rory win. But I know good buddy Derek Farnsworth, Notorious, had the old Cam Smith ticket out there. on Scores and Odds last week. So, I got to give him props for that. So kudos to Derek on that call.
Nice. Well, Justin, thank you so much for jumping on today. Justin's one of many talented people on the Scores and Odds roster. Everybody give him a follow. It's STL Cardinals 84. Is that correct on Twitter?
That's correct.
All right. Give him a follow. Very sharp, as you can tell, in baseball. But what other sports do you cover, Justin?
Will be college football season soon. So college football and NFL around the corner. So those will be the fall sports for me, and mainly baseball during this time of year. So PGA, baseball, and then football in the fall. No hockey for me. I don't do as much NBA anymore, but football and baseball, pretty much the other sports on my radar.
Viewers are probably not going to see this until after the contest, but who's your Derby winner?
I love to say Albert Pujols as a Cardinals fan, but unless they give him some cork bats and the old juice baseballs, it's hard to expect him to win. But in terms of value in the betting markets, I think Jose Ramirez at like plus 1,600 is the play. I don't expect him to win. Like my official pick was Juan Soto. So official pick Juan Soto, best value on the board though. And I actually have a small bet on Jose Ramirez. So that's my sweat for the night.
Beautiful. Love it, man. Well, thank you, Justin. We'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. I'll let you handle the racing and that other stuff. That's a little out of my element, but good luck with the rest of the show.
Appreciate it, Justin.
All right. Thank you.
All righty, guys. Yes, Justin mentioned the French Grand Prix is starting this week. It is race week here. We took a week off. It was an awesome race in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. We're back in France now. Right now, I'm looking at the odds. And again, it's hard to bet Formula One racing before they've done practice sessions, before they've done the qualifying session. But if you want to find value, I think Mick Schumacher is a great bet right now in terms of matchups, in terms of maybe top 10 finishes. We all know it. 2 races ago, he just earned his first point ever in Formula One. And then the very next race, he ended up P6. So he's definitely on the way up. We know that the Haas car with that Ferrari engine is doing well because the Ferrari engines are winning races too. So definitely look into Mick Schumacher matchups as well as, top 10 podium finish. Maybe not a podium, but maybe a top 10 would be great value as well. And let me go ahead and look what that is on DraftKings for you guys. Top 10 for Mick Schumacher is going to be plus 115. I think that's awesome value. I think he's definitely going to be up there in contention for points. So look for Mick Schumacher. In terms of outright race winners, according to DraftKings right now, Max Verstappen is the favorite at plus 110, followed by Charles Leclerc plus 170, Lewis Hamilton plus 750. This is the first time before the races have started and practice sessions have started where Lewis Hamilton is actually slated in the top 3 ahead of Sergio Perez plus 1,200, ahead of Carlos Sainz plus 1,700, and ahead of his teammate George Russell plus 1,500. I think that goes to show you that odds makers in Vegas as well as around the world are taking notice of Mercedes. They've made a lot of improvements. A lot of the upgrades in the last 3 to 4 races have been extremely meaningful and significant. And Lewis Hamilton, I believe, has 3 straight top 3 finishes. So he definitely has value to win the race outright. My other favorite pick here heading into this race is a Lando Norris top 6 finish. You can find him at plus 200 on FanDuel or DraftKings. But I think the McLaren kind of turned a corner the last couple of weeks. And we know Lando Norris is a phenomenal driver. And the gap that you see between Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo in the same car is really telling, in my opinion, not only of Daniel Ricciardo's skills, but just how good Lando Norris is himself. So just want to preview the F1, French Grand Prix coming up. Some matchups that I thought were kind of interesting heading into the race. So even though Lewis Hamilton has better odds to win outright plus 750, his head-to-head matchup with George Russell is actually favored minus 140. I think that is a huge tell that odds makers believe George Russell is going to finish ahead of Lewis Hamilton. I actually love that bet. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but from a line read there, when you're looking at odds and line movement as well as percentages of action as well as money, in other sports, you kind of take those same principles into Formula One. And at the French Grand Prix, George Russell is minus 140 head-to-head against Lewis Hamilton. Leclerc minus 360 against his teammate. Fernando Alonso and Carlos Esteban Ocon. Ocon is a plus 225. I love that value head-to-head. I know Fernando Alonso is a multiple-time, world championship driver, and he's been great so far this season. But Ocon has actually been trending up in the last 3 races, and I think he's going to start challenging Fernando to be the number 1 driver at Alpine. So I kind of like Ocon there in terms of value, plus 225 head-to-head matchup against Alonso. All right, so that completes the French Grand Prix. Again, it's really hard to get into just the betting markets on a Monday before we've gone through practice sessions and before we've been informed of what the upgrades are this week, as well as qualifying. So with that being said, I still love Mick Schumacher. So look into all of his bets in every market, from top 10 to head-to-heads to, finishing races, things like that. If he can finish, he can definitely be in the top 10. All right. I want to quickly get over to soccer and European soccer. A lot of things have happened in the last couple of weeks. There's this, takes 2 to tango, but there's been flirting between Barcelona in the Spanish La Liga, as well as Chelsea in the English Premier League. They're kind of just trading players left and right and going after the same players. Dembele, the big one, I think Barcelona took that and took him and won that transfer. So he got extended there at Barcelona, which is a big loss for Chelsea. Another big name, Robert Lewandowski, who I think is the best striker in the world. He goes from Bayern to Barcelona. So now Spanish La Liga has 3, in my opinion, really elite teams right now, with Real Madrid, Sevilla, as well as Barcelona, who should be back contending for the title there in La Liga. Some other guys that they're going after consists of, just other strikers that for some reason, both Thomas Tuchel over at Chelsea as well as Xavi over at Barcelona, they just love the same players. It's really interesting to see, who's going to get what. I think Koundé from Sevilla is looking and slated to go to Chelsea. Again, guys, from a betting standpoint, I kind of like Barcelona to win the Spanish La Liga. I think they're really, really firming up that defense. And now they have, in my opinion, again, one of the best, if not the best striker in the world. So I don't think scoring is going to be an issue. Their midfield is a little young, but they have super, super talented players from Pedri, Gavi, and others in the midfield. I love that team. Obviously, the cream of the crop right now in La Liga is Real Madrid, but Barcelona definitely has some value. And then I haven't changed my mind when it comes to the English Premier League. And people who follow me understand that I'm a big Chelsea fan, but I don't love them going into the season. I think they're going to struggle to be in the top 4. I think it's Man City, and then 4 or 5 teams are going to be vying for 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, I'm not high on Manchester United, but it's probably going to be between Liverpool, Chelsea, as well as Tottenham. Arsenal's made a couple great moves as well. Let me go ahead and look up some of the odds here moving forward. I'll look at Spanish La Liga first. In terms of team futures, Real Madrid is plus 110, Barcelona plus 150, Atletico Madrid is plus 500, and Sevilla is plus 2,000. Barcelona at plus 150 is probably a little overreaction to some of the news in the transfer window. So I wouldn't be chasing steam. I think it was over plus 200 just last week. So I would wait for that because of the Lewandowski news. Wait for a week or two, and it'll probably come back down to plus 175, 180. As far as the English Premier League, let me go ahead and pull that up right now. Let's see what's changed. English Premier League team props. All right, there's not much. Okay, team features, found it. All right, yeah, so Man City is minus 165, followed by Liverpool plus 250, Tottenham plus 1,400, and Chelsea plus 1,400. I see then followed by Man United as well as Arsenal. I think Arsenal is a better team than United. There's just a lot of disarray and a lot of discombobulation at Manchester United from the top all the way down to their players. So that is not a team that I'm willing to back. But I like the Tottenham top four, minus 135. That's probably my favorite bet right now when it comes to the English Premier League. We'll see who Chelsea can get to add to their attacking side with Mason Mount and Kai Havertz, but they definitely need to improve to not only compete in the English Premier League, but just to compete in the European tournaments as well. So again, exciting news in European soccer, exciting news in F1. Congratulations to Cameron Smith, British Open champion, 6 under in the back. I think he shot a 64 or 65 to finish that tournament and scored a 20 under par. So, I mean, he deserves it. I know everyone's disappointed about Rory, but I'm not going to knock Cam Smith for playing the round of his life and winning the tournament. You could tell he's the best putter in the world. So thank you again, everyone, for jumping on Best of the Rest. I will have another show next Monday. Thank you, Justin, for jumping on as a guest today. That is our second guest ever on the show. We'll try to have more and more as this show continues to mature and continue to develop. But thank you, guys. Everyone, good luck on your bets. If you're looking to find like the best odds, the best analysis, some of the best write-ups are going to be on Scores and Odds. So definitely check out the website. I'm a user of it all the time. You guys know I'm big into metrics and analytics, and there's awesome projections and engines on Scores and Odds website that you can leverage for free. And if you're looking to join and get like the VIP package, as a member, you can just get more tools at your disposal. Definitely look into that as well. I'll do a giveaway soon, and we'll give away some free premium memberships for Scores and Odds. Again, guys, thank you so much. Have a good one.